My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Soulivity Live. Hey, how you doing, sir? My sister, how are you?
Hey.
This wins, right? we might need some more wine for this.
So, let's get this party started, y'all. Hey, my sister, mademoiselle.
That is the most amazing introduction I've ever heard.
Oh, for being here. Oh, what an amazing day. Go make it even more amazing. Myself and Madison, Brian Wesley Johnson. Thank you for joining us on Saturday morning. Full of passion. Hello and welcome to another edition of Soulivity Live, everyone. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson.
Watch
and
Soulivity
I am
Live
so
with Brian
glad
Wesley
you joined
Johnson
us because
every Saturday
you
at 10 a.m. right
to
here
get
on
inspired.
Soulivity TV.
But before I get into today's show, I want to once again thank our guests from our last show. Thanks to Beyond Words authors Elaine Clayton and Kady Silcox, we had a wonderful conversation about today's current events and challenges in our nation and our world. It was completely inspiring. Now, if you missed it, you can always see a replay of this show or actually any of our shows by going to our new and improved YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe while you're there because you'll be able to receive alerts and notifications every time we go live. So let's get into today's show, shall we? Back in 2017, I had the pleasure of meeting actress Jade Tailor during an interview with her. We spent time talking about her then second season of a hit show, the inspiration of her mother, and so many other things. Now, time flew by, and the conversation was just continually wonderful. So much so that we had even more interviews during the next couple of years. Jade is a very conscious, caring, and empathetic soul. I just love her. In fact, let's find out a little bit more about her before we get started.
Jade Tailor, actress, singer, creative, advocate. She is most known for playing the role of Kady in the 5 seasons of the sci-fi hit series The Magicians, a show based on Lev Grossman's best-selling book trilogy centering around Brakebills University, a secret institution specializing in magic. But Tailor has also appeared in many other roles, such as the TNT series Murder in the First and the NBC series Aquarius. She has also had guest starring roles on True Blood and Vegas. On the big screen, Tailor stars opposite Ron Perlman for the Hulu film Higher Power, a sci-fi thriller about a regular guy who acquires the power of God. Her film credits also include the thriller Cam to Cam and Juke Box Hero. Now, as a professional singer and dancer, Tailor has appeared in several musicals and off-Broadway productions. And she is a proud supporter of the LGBTQ community, member of Women in Film, and resides on the board of the Women's History Museum.
All right, and with that, let's welcome Jade Tailor to the show.
Hi.
Hey!
Got you, apparently.
Oh, man. It has been too long, girl.
This is my new pup. Come here, buddy. Come here.
Yeah. Let's see the new pup.
The baby. This is Duchovny or Bambi.
He must like my voice.
Yeah, he does. My God, there's a neighbor. Hi. Oh, thank you.
I did see an Instagram of
My new rescue.
Yeah, the bestie. Like, this is what it's like to, pet sit for Jade Tailor.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
If I only lived closer.
All 3 of my pets.
Wow. And they all get. Because you have 1 or 2 dogs.
Cats and a dog.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, I had a pup and she passed away. So
a wonderful, unified group.
company of
Like, who says cats and dogs can't?
Yeah, actually, two of them are best friends. It's actually adorable. My cat Puppy thinks he's a dog. Maybe that's part of it. And then the dog Ducky.
What have you been up to? I mean, we'll get into some other things later, but you got a whole bunch of stuff going.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. I mean, we're, since the pandemic, are we talking beginning of pandemic?
Right? Like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, because when was the last time we've talked? Like, it's been like.
But in public.
I know, right?
A bit. So yeah, it's been an interesting rise. So when I first started, I actually had just gotten, this is gonna sound crazy.
Everybody, this is our normal kind of conversations where it's like we get through like a half a sentence and then it's like laughter and then we're like, well, what were we talking about? Okay, no.
Yeah, so the beginning of pandemic, I had just gotten off tour with Oprah, which sounds incredible, and it was. I got to sing for this group called Daybreaker and do some musical directing for them. It was just the most incredible experience. I was on this huge high. I got home and then lockdown. So but I'm so grateful that that was the beginning of my 2020. And yeah, we had a big tour, and then but it was a really interesting shift, which I think has happened for so many, where I went from, doing so much to then having to just stop. Everything stopped. My work stopped. My, relationships and connection, all of it. And it put me in a bit of a funk, if I'm being honest, where I realized that I was constantly doing and constantly traveling and constantly working for so many years now, that having that, I don't want to say taken away, but put on pause. At first, I felt like it was taken away, but it was put on pause. And I realized that I gave so much value to my work that's what made me feel valuable.
Okay, I've been there. I resemble that remark.
Yeah, and I think it happened for a lot of us going through this kind of experience. And so I really had to check myself and what I valued about myself without having to do anything for other people or for work or whatever it may be, just to sit and be with myself. So there was a good growth period for me there. So yeah, it was a couple months, and then I started, I have a production company, and we started working on a new project that kind of encapsulates what we're all going through right now. It follows a bunch of different women and storylines going through this experience that we're going through, but in a way that also represents how we move through life in general and hardships. And you know me, I don't do anything that isn't meaningful in some way, and so I really
Gotta be from the heart.
Yeah, exactly. And so I wanted to also encapsulate, what's going on with BLM and, the horrifying things that are happening in the world. And so I was like, in what way can I do that best? So I wrote this, I was commissioned to write this piece. And I was like, I'm only going to do something that breaks down people's unconscious biases and assumptions about others. And so, without giving too much away, we start out following this Black woman, and we see her carrying a bunch of cleaning supplies into this house, this enormous mansion, and this white woman greets her and was like, oh, let me help you with those. And she's like, oh, no, I got it. The immediate assumption that people have is that the Black woman is the maid. Everyone that's read it, every single time, the white woman is the maid. And so even little teeny snippets and things like that to break down people's assumptions and go, oh my God, my unconscious bias, my unconscious mind thought that. Interesting. So there's a lot of moments like that also with a character that's transgender, and we really wanted to make sure that we were representing and honoring that. So we found someone who is in the process of transitioning. And so the piece is called The Shift. So Brittany Curran is producing, I'm directing and writing and producing, I guess, as well. And it's been basically what I've been focused on, and me always just trying to create work and things that are making an impact. Also made a song called "All Blood Runs Red" with my
I
passion.
absolutely love that song.
Thank
I
you.
love that.
Thank
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you.
It again, it embodies everything you're talking about. That's a part of. Oh man, those singers. Woo! Hello.
Aren't they amazing? So those are
Woo!
my friends, Sai and Athena, and they're just incredible. I was on tour with them for the Oprah tour, but what
Wow, you
was
got to sing with them?
yeah, I love them so much. The crazy thing is, I wrote that song with Chin a year ago.
Mm, okay.
So have you heard of Eugene Jacques Bouillard?
Oh yeah.
He's this. Yeah, okay. So a lot of people don't know about him, but for those who are watching right now, Eugene was the first African American fighter pilot, and he was not accepted in the U.S. and he ended up moving to France because of racism, and was accepted in the military there. And on every plane he flew, he would paint his red heart with a dagger running through it with the phrase "All blood runs red," but in French. And I just thought it was such a powerful statement that we started writing this song about it. And it was so crazy to then, a year later, have all of these things start to come up and come to the surface or come to light, because we know it's been happening for too long. But I was like, oh my God, I saw it beforehand. Not only saw it, but this has been going on for so long.
Mhm.
And it's horrifying. It's like, I need to get it out there. And so, yeah, so we wrote a song. It's out there. There's a music video and all the things. And those are the things I've been doing. Lots
Just just a little things here or there, you know.
little things here and there. I've adopted a dog.
Well, I mean, Jade, I mean, again, I mean, everybody, I've known you now for 4 years,
Yeah.
and this has always been a part of who you are. And so it doesn't, I think you understood that things with Black Lives Matter and the underlying of why that movement started, but a lot of people either were ignorant of it or they just, you know, denied that it was really happening. And so it doesn't surprise me that this song that you wrote that was already in your heart around what was happening, you know, around how we should all be treating each other, that it would become relevant
Mhm.
again. This instance, that it was a powerful, powerful song sentiment that I think.
Thank you.
Let me, you know, before we get into that part of it,
Yeah.
let's talk about the magician. I don't, you know me. I don't do the normal. I know, ta-da! This is for Rick. Show me some goddamn magic.
Yes.
You know, 5 seasons.
5 seasons.
The show was on this upward trajectory as far as I was,
Yes.
and then got the news that there wouldn't.
Yeah.
What was going on in your mind and heart?
There were all. It's interesting. I think a part of me had a feeling that it might not go on, and that might be because there were talks about it in the ethers around the cast and everything. We still were super hopeful. I was really hopeful. It was so bittersweet. It was so bittersweet in the sense that it was the greatest journey of my life thus far. And I'm gonna get emotional.
They call me the Barbara Walters.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe.
Cry with you.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it was heart-wrenching. If I'm being honest, it was so heart-wrenching to go, wow, it's over. And I'm not one to regret anything. because I think we learn from everything and there's lessons in everything. And if we regret, it means that we're not learning something and we're not getting something from it.
Right.
But it did make me go for a moment, would I have done something differently had I known that that was the last time? I would have hugged the crew a little bit longer. I would have just loved everyone a little bit harder. And I love them so much. We had the most incredible crew of all time. And now there's a pandemic. I was going to go to Vancouver to pack up my condo, and not being able to even go and say hi to them or bye to them and give them love. Like, that was something that I was like, this is really interesting. But also the fans. That was
you had the magi of, I mean,
we have the most incredible fans on the planet, hands down. And I just saw how heartbreaking it was for them. And that was the greatest gift to me, to be able to see how it impacted people and to uplift people or make people feel things in such a deep and profound way. And to then not be able to continue to give that. I will say that Brittany Curran and I, we continue to do like the weekly watch party every month,
I love it.
which has been so amazing. And our fans are still, watching with us, and it's been really, really great. But I will say it was just, I don't know what I would do without that, because I couldn't let it end. I couldn't let it end. It was just this been this piece of me, and but also endlessly grateful. I'm endlessly grateful, and it was also heartbreaking because it was so wonderful.
That's where family. I could see it, and of course, in all families, there's the
there's always
things that happen and all that, right? But at the end of the day, there was a lot of chemistry. And I'm not just saying everyone, the people who you saw on screen. I'm talking about the entire cast, because there were things like, I know Rick would tell me, I think he told me about, I think it was season 3, where it was like the whole challenge of finishing the season, and there was like long nights and days, and where everybody was sleeping in trailers and then going coming back out and that kind of thing. So it was I knew that it was going to be an amazing journey, but also bittersweet. One last question about that.
Yeah, sure.
What has that experience taught? What's new? Because I know you might have hurt, but you also took something away. The whole thing.
What hasn't it taught me? The ending of it or the whole journey? Because
the whole journey.
Whole journey. Wow. I mean, I'm a changed human because of it, if I'm being honest. I learned, oh gosh, we're going to go there. There's a lot of lessons. I learned my own strength in it. I learned that through, and my power. I learned that through playing my character. Because like Kady, I've gone through a lot in my day, as you know, personally. I've gone through a lot. And I believe that it makes us stronger if we choose to find it, if we choose to look at the growth and the lessons. And I really was able to hone my own power because of witnessing this other person and being able to play that out and experience it. I learned not to take things personally, because there's a lot of, we're a lot of actors, a lot of personalities, a lot of things. And there were some times where, I won't name any names, but where it was a little bit hard. And I felt a little, attacked and not to like, but I realized it had nothing to do with me. At the end of the day, it never has anything to do with us. If somebody's going to be upset at you, if somebody's going to say anything, it's all their own stuff. We all have a past. We all have a history. We all have our sensitivities. And we can have love and compassion for someone no matter what's going on with them, knowing it has nothing to do with us. Because I spent so much time trying to please everyone and make everybody happy. And at the end of the day, I mean, somebody even told me, like, I don't like you because you're too nice.
I think I've heard that once or twice.
It's so funny. Which, again, it was a good lesson for me. Like, oh, I don't have to please that person because there's no pleasing them. I just get to honor and take care of myself and please myself. I learned, I mean, I already knew that I do it for people. I like do this for others, but to really sit in it and feel the impact of the fans and communities, I went, yep, this is why I do this. And it really allowed me to sort of hone that in and take the reins and go, great. Now I know that everything that I'm going to do is for the sake of humanity. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. And we never know the impact we're making on people. We could think that we're doing some simple scene where somebody's passing away, but that is so relatable. Someone else take that and have the same exact experience. I had a fan, shout her out, Barbie. She's amazing. She shared this beautiful story about her journey, and I won't share it personally, but that she experienced a lot of the things that either Julia or Kady experienced, and how it really supported her. And just to keep hearing those stories of people that related to our experience and our journey and our stories, or our character stories, that I will take with me to the end of time. It was so powerful. And so to know that we always have to know that everything we do makes an impact. Everything we do makes an impact. So we always have to keep that in mind and know that we have a responsibility as people in the spotlight, as actors, to honor that and to honor the people that are watching, because they are impacted and made different because of it. Yeah, I think the ending of it, just to appreciate, I mean, I'm always one to appreciate everything, but to really truly sit in appreciation in every moment, because there were moments where I lost it. I lost that appreciation for a moment or two, where either I felt undervalued or underappreciated for whatever reason, my own stuff, right? Because it's never about it, it's always about us.
Right.
And to always remember the positives and the amazing things, and to not take one moment for granted. To not take one moment for granted, because this life is such a gift. It's such a gift, and that journey was such a gift. I can't say enough about how beautiful and how impactful it was. And yeah, I loved every moment, even the hard ones, because I learned so much. And I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing.
You know, it sounds like, talk about, our destiny in life. And when you talk about this part of your journey, it really sounds as though this a deepening sense of what your passion, what your purpose, and the service, right, that is the foundation for all of that, right? Because at the end of the day, when you're on screen acting, and you didn't know, you never know who you're going to impact. Because that was the one thing about The Magician I really appreciated, and that was the script really tackled some difficult issues, but in a different way, kind of like how Star Trek back in the day, and racism or discrimination, gender bias, or all those kinds of things, right? Where in this sci-fi kind of way, it's like, hey, we can actually talk about it.
Exactly. And that was the greatest gift about that. The thing I loved most about that show was that it did it, but it normalized things. It wasn't like, look at this person, like we need to show it.
Right.
We didn't like spotlight it to make a point.
Right.
We normal.
Right.
Everyone,
right.
people of different sexual orientations, background,
Right.
All of it, all of it. Race, like you name it, we just like everyone was normal. They made, polygamy normal.
Right?
They just made it all normal. And I think it just kind of made everyone go, oh, I can be and say and feel and like experience whatever it is that I want to experience because
Right. And I mean, like, and then put a spin on it where it's thought provoking. Like,
very much so.
maybe I need to change my perspective on
Yes.
that, right?
Totally.
Um,
The amount of like feminist comments that you're like, ooh, that feels a little inappropriate. Oh, but she went for it and she did it. Oh, I guess I can feel empowered in that way. That's awesome. That's amazing. Like,
what is it? Elliot and Quinn, their relationship, but they both were married to the same. But they went, it was like they had this long life together, and then they find it was like only like a split moment of time they came back, and they're like, they remembered their whole life of
exactly.
living. I mean, just wow, Jade, I'm really, really loving this conversation, but we've got to take a short pause for the cause. We're going to go to commercial break, but before we do, let's see a little bit of you on The Magicians.
$1 million.
Ain't going there. Paper money is for drug dealers and idiots.
Goldie will tell you I'm good for it. Can you just do it now and we'll pay you later?
Bars. 2 big bars. Maybe 60 pounds. That's all.
What?
I'm trying to remember the last time not having enough money was one of my biggest problems.
Okay, well, cash won't cut it, to what? Pawn shops?
$1 million in chains and earrings. I mean, that would take so many pawn shops. I'm gonna go rob a bank.
Well, we are magicians.
Watch Ask for Candy with Candace Harper every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Watch Beauty and Gratitude with your host D'Angelo Thompson every Friday at 8 p.m. right here on Soulivity TV. And now back to more with Soulivity Live with Brian Wesley Johnson.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier,
Yes.
because both you and I, mode of people addict.
Yeah.
I remember I think the last time we kind of talked on the phone just for a hot minute, right after George, which was right after Taylor. And I think I told you at that point that I don't even know what to say. I'm like processing. And then recently we have Jacob, like even in a more, I won't say in a more graphic way, different graphic.
Yeah.
Where we have another African American man gunned down after he was actually trying to stop violence in his own people living in the. I know this is a passion of civil rights, human rights, gender rights, sexual orientation, equality across the board. My question is, why is this? What makes? I think people, because I think when they see celebrities out doing stuff, it's like, oh well, they're celebrity, of course they're, it's good PR, but this is way. I mean, this goes way. I think I want people to kind of hear. I know it. I want other people.
Yeah. Why is it important? That's kind of crazy to me because I'm like, well, how could it not be important to people? It's makes me emotional. Well, I think, yeah, no, it's okay because people should see it. People should feel it. It's baffling to me that people don't have empathy and compassion for our fellow humans. Like, we are all human. We are all here doing the best that we know how, living life, and we are all so incredible, like 50 trillion unique cells in each of us. We're meant to be different. We are meant to be different, and yet we are one and the same. And we should be celebrating those unique things, like literally 50 trillion unique cells in each of our human bodies. That in and of itself is magnificent and magical and incredible. And I think it starts, well, I grew up with Holocaust survivors. My grandparents are Holocaust survivors. And I think there's something that happens when you come from that kind of trauma, where you have a different sense of, a different understanding and sense of dehumanization. And my grandparents were lucky, but my entire family, other than that, was not. They all were brutally murdered. And watching my dad, this is just to be, I'm just going to be really transparent. Watching my dad then take on some of those unconscious racial biases was so baffling to me, because he was taught at an early age to fight Palestinians. And so then he believes that Israelis are different than or separate from, and that they are bad and we are good. And I think when you go through life, you either learn from your experiences and you take on what other people are giving you, or you learn what not to do. And you learn, and you see like the negative and the unjust and the cruelty. And I unfortunately saw that in my dad. And my brother and I, for whatever reason, just knew that it wasn't right. We just knew. And it made us so, it made us have this fight in us and compassion that I think is sort of unprecedented. We just have this thing in us because we just saw the inhumanity and hatred that my dad held for people. And it made us kind of, I don't know, I felt like I had this responsibility, and not just responsibility, but I just couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it because we are all human. We are all human. Doesn't matter what color, sexual orientation, any of it, none of that matters. We're all living, breathing human beings, and that is it, period. And so for me, it matters because all life matters. But I don't want to say like all life matters, because that's a really like the phrase right now.
Right. And I don't think that, I don't get,
yeah, but I'm just saying, for anyone watching, not what I mean at all. But I think it's also important because somebody recently was like, oh, well, what about Jewish people and anti-Semitism? I was like, great. We dealt with that. That's not the conversation.
Right.
That's not the conversation right now, because for now 500 years, Black people have been brutalized, killed. The list goes on. And we have not shifted that narrative. And so I will say, please forgive my words, but I am glad this is now happening. Not because I want anybody to suffer or hurt, but finally people are seeing what's actually happening. And if that changes things, thank God, because it's about damn time. And it's our duty, I feel it's my duty and my responsibility as a human and as a passively white human to step up and speak out about the things that matter, and to speak out or not just speak out, but give others a voice and a platform to speak out. It is my responsibility to step back when I need to and to speak out when I need to and to hold people high and hold people up and give people an opportunity that might not have had it, and to speak out about the things that matter. And people matter. Black lives matter. I get really impassioned about this, so I'm going to take a breath.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Because I think the best summation of where Black people are right now, brother in arms Roland Martin, talking about the difference between rights that we were fighting, that we fought for, civil rights, freedom in terms of slavery, that kind of thing, and truth, right? Where, Black people, also brown people, and other people of different sexual orientations, gender, and all that, we've had to had our Constitution amended to give us the rights and the freedom that other people just had when they were born.
Yeah.
Right? So, the people who wrote the, Declaration of Independence, the people who wrote the Constitution, all the, white-bodied people who were around, they already had those things.
Yeah.
Right? And so those are the differences that I think that we're trying to bring to the forefront.
Exactly.
I mean, and the George Floyds, the Breonna Taylors, Jacob Blakes, the Emmett Tills, the list goes on and on and on, of being seen as not only the other, but less than.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate the thing about you, Jade, that I really love and appreciate. You're listening. What we are, right? Listening to what other disenfranchised and discriminated are saying. You could easily to the background, not get involved in all this privilege, not that has people in America. I want to be clear, everybody. Soulivity, yes, you're about passion, purpose, and high quality living, but not when you live ignorant of how you're being treated or how other people who are in you. There's a part of you that has connected tissue to that other person.
Absolutely.
You can't walk away from it. You have to confront it. This kind of problem, the coach of Duke, I think yesterday, was talking about this to players, and he was happy that they stand and are leading. I mean, the young people are leading right now.
Chills when I heard
Whoa!
about
I mean,
that. Oh my God.
oh man, so I appreciate you talking about that. The other thing too, Jade, while we have time, is you're doing this whole challenge in terms of assisting the people of Beirut.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I don't understand why we're not doing country. I mean, France is out there trying to do that kind of thing. Tell us a little bit about that challenge that
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of
I know we'll have a whole bunch of things on the chat in terms of things that you can.
I wish there were more ways to post the various things about just different ways people can support on like Instagram or different things. They only let you put one link, but yeah, in Beirut, I mean, it was horrifying to see what happened, and I think it's so important for us to just be conscious of what's happening around the world right now. And for those who don't know, there was a horrifying explosion that injured and thousands and killed many, and they're going to have to rebuild. And so it's so important that we support in any way that we can. And a lot of times, like I had some fans yesterday, or I posted about Jacob Blake, and a link in my bio for how you can help support medical funds and things of that nature. And some of the fans were saying, "Oh, I can't donate. I don't have the money, but I'll share." I'm saying that because I think even if you don't have the money, even if you don't have the funds to do it, it's not just about that. You can still take a stand. You can still support by sharing, because you might share it with one person, that might share it with 10, that might share it with 20, and so on and so forth. Like that's the kind of pandemic we want, the kind that spreads in a positive.
Right. We want that to go viral, not this.
Viral. Exactly. So if you can't donate, share. There are so many important causes right now. Beirut being one of them. Jacob Blake being another. He has already been through so many surgeries, and I mean, thankfully we've raised quite a bit, but still he's going to have more. And if there's any hope of him walking again, it's going to continue to happen. And he still has holes in his internal organs, had to have his colon, all of these things. So
it has bullet fragments that's why right now they're having all these different surgeries to try to get
the
fragments off of his vertebrae and all that.
It's terrifying. It's horrifying. And for those who don't know what's happening with Jacob Blake or what happened, I just want to touch on that for a brief moment, because it's horrifying, but it's important to know these things, because if we don't know it, then we're ignorant to it and we don't realize what's happening in the world. And Jacob Blake was a young 29-year-old man who actually pulled over because he saw a dispute between a bunch of women, and then the cops came, and he was trying to get back in his car, and a cop literally shot him 7 times in the back with 3 of his young children in the back. 3 of his children in the back seat witnessing this. And a lot of people have been, I mean, I just want to put it in perspective. A white man, a young white man, goes to a protest, shoots and kills people, and walks by the cops.
Right.
This man did nothing, tries to get back in his car, and was shot 7 times in the back. It's a miracle that he is still alive.
Right. And let's be clear. I want to give people information about this.
Please.
He was unarmed. I know there's been reports about, he had a knife. He already told the police that there was a knife in his car. So they already knew about it.
Yeah.
Right. And so, there was 1,000,001 ways for.
Yeah.
But immediately went to deadly for this. Now he's fighting for his life. And I heard today, heartbreaking, was the father of Jacob Blake was on some of the news media, and he was saying that my grandchildren are asking, why did they shoot my father? Because they're embodying this, and it with them for the rest of their lives. So important stuff to talk about. And so, Jade, of course, have the link for, is it GoFundMe? That kind of. Yeah, we'll make sure that we have that link available, that people.
And also story.
And share.
it's important that people know about it so that we can finally shift this this narrative and I know, you know, we've been talking about defunding the police and all of that, but it's also about, you know, proper protocol, de-escalation, like all of these things. It's systemic. It is systemic racism.
Right.
That needs to shift. And the way that shifts is by continuing to share these stories, continuing to shift people's perspectives, teaching our children differently.
Right.
Raise your children differently.
Right.
It's going to be generational, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, there will be, hopefully, there will be changes from a, like you were talking about, defund the police, which is not defunding the police. It's literally moving resources to support mechanisms while you continue law enforcement, but you don't have law enforcement do psychological things. Or you don't have law enforcement treat domestic abuse. You don't have law enforcement do any of those things, which is what they do right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you don't bring, you know, a cannon to something that can be fixed with, you know, knife.
Yeah.
I mean, so you just, yeah. I mean, we'll have to, you know, we have to continue. I want to do this again. I do.
Anytime, you know that.
Yeah, I know. Again, I appreciate you so much. I mean, thank you for sharing all that. I wish we had more.
I know. We do. We have endless time. Endless time.
Thank you for being.
Of course, always. I appreciate you so much and all that you stand for and what you're doing with Soulivity and everything. And
More to come.
Yeah.
More to come.
Absolutely.
Again, you know where my heart lives, around people really forward having a best life, and those that are currently franchised, everything that everybody deserves.
Absolutely.
Everybody's responsibility to make sure that everybody has ever they.
Exactly. Thank you. Thanks for having me always. Love you.
Love you too. Now, as I said earlier on earlier shows, Soulivity has a new exciting collaboration with Beyond Words Publishing. And as part of this collaboration, all of you get to benefit. We are doing giveaways. We are giving away great gifts like Paul O'Brien's I Ching Visionary cards, new books by Madison Taylor, or Kathy Tristan, and a whole host of other Beyond Words authors. Now, if you want a chance to receive a chance in receiving a book, you need to join our new book club. And what you do is you go to facebook.com, go to groups, and sign up at our Soulivity magazine book club for your chance to win a fabulous, fabulous prize. We're going to be giving away books over the next few months into the new year. And so we want to make sure that you have a chance to win, because you can get inspired right here on Soulivity. Remember, don't forget to check out Soulivity TV, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just for you. Remember to sign up on our YouTube channel so you can get alerted when we go live. And also, coming up tomorrow, we have our morning yoga with Michaela at noon, and live with Jesse and Melville, or as I call them, Mom and Dad, at 5:30. Both times are Eastern. You want to check our website for more information. Well, until next time, on behalf of Jade and myself, I want to wish you and say to you, thank you for joining us. I love all of you. I'm wishing you a life full of passion, purpose, and high quality living. See you next time. Hey, how you doing, sir? My sister, how are you?
Hey.
It's Lynn, right? we might need some more wine for this.
So, let's get this party started, y'all. Hey, my sister, mademoiselle.
I
What an amazing day. Go make it even more amazing.
Myself and Madison, Brian Wesley Johnson. Thank you for joining us on Saturday morning. Full of passion, purpose, and high quality living. See you next time.
I'm done.
Watch Soulivity Live with Brian Wesley Johnson every Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on Soulivity TV.
Soulivity Magazine brings you the best in inspiration on Soulivity TV. Check out our new shows. Mark your calendars for Soulivity Magazine shows by going to soulivity.com.